Let's begin. So, I don't remember any dreams last night. Well, that's fine. I don't know that I'd be able to recount them while fighting pure vessel anyways. Do I want Sharp Shadow? Maybe I don't care about that. Probably should one. Maybe Drub Song, Weaver Song. And at my level, I don't think I'll have the uptime for Quick Slash to be that good. So Carefree Melodies, possible. Mark of Pride's possible. Shaman Stone might be possible. I'm going to go with Carefree Melody for now anyways. Too slow. Up. Ay. Ay. What's the best healing times? Like, I can heal after that. Ow. Nope. Okay, let's trade in Carefree Melody for Quick Focus, or finding good healing times, even if I'm slow to react, and then later, when my reaction's quicker, be able to use it without Quick Focus, perhaps? Go with that, yeah. And then maybe later I switch it out for Shaman Stone. Say? Dash the wrong way. Okay. My shadow dash wasn't ready. Yeah, that. The spacing is a little bit tight as well. Oh, I'm going to pull up. I had a document that had strategies. It's Pure Vessel is my favorite boss because too soon. Oh, yeah, but oh, that's long reach. Yep. He's got 4 attacks in the first phase, a charge, a triple slash, a throwing knives, and spikes. A ground pound with spikes. Positioning. Get it. Lag. Healing is maybe easiest during throwing knives because of the amount of time. good. That's no good time to do. And then the spikes. Oh. Oh, got it. Ah. Oh, phase 2. Okay. No good. Way too fast. Ah, got it. Yikes. That one I call Nova Burst. That one's a good time to heal as well. Okay. The main strategy for charge is Shadow Dash through, dash in, nail hit. For the throwing knives, it's dash in once or twice, then nail hit, or dodging slash positioning and focusing. Yeah, but that's not the right one. For the spikes, it's positioning and then focus or shade soul, and then possibly a nail hit depending on distance. Too soon. Also, I don't have it written down. Yeah, but there's potential parries in certain spots. Like, say, on the triple slash, or the tentacles. Tentacles. What was the strategy for tentacles? Jumping worked. And spell stalling or dashing. Ow. Or if he's very far away. Hey. Ow. Yeah, bet. Okay, I think a lot of the parry strats were about if Shadow Dash was down. Or if instinctively, if I just end up if I end up dashing away before I can properly see to dash through, even if Shadow Dash is up, then parries as well. Yeah, it looks like my ideas were more... I had more different strategies for the triple slash. Oh yeah, and if the spacing's wrong, then dashing through it's not great. That was no good. Ow. Alright, for triple slash, I've got Shadow Dash through, dash in, nail. Shadow Dash through, focus. Parry, Shadow Dash through, dash in, nail. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, bet. Yay! Ow. I also had... Oh yeah, the other thing for dashing away from the triple slash is if this was wrong. For dashing through easily. Yeah, so parry shadow dash through was also for a certain spacing. Dash away, nail, or dash away, dash in, nail was further spacing. Dash away, parry, nail. Dash away, beat, parry, nail. Probably those were best if my shadow dash was already down, or if I used my shadow dash to dash away instead. Yeah, bet. Well, somehow that worked. Yeah, bet. It's too slow. Yeah, well, that's all from when I had last played, and nope. Ow. Sorry. Yeah, from when I had last played, and Pure Vessel was as far as I'd gotten. Hadn't beaten Pure Vessel. So... yeah, not only is Pure Vessel an extremely difficult boss, it's my favorite boss because of the variety of strategies I prepared against Pure Vessel's attacks. More strategies than there are attacks because of things like spacing, whether Shadow dashes up, stuff like that. Maybe I actually had Dash Master. Yeah, whether or not I'm running Dash Master. Let's run Dash Master, yeah. Goodbye, spiders. Dash Master Sans is my new best friend now. And I can't, it's not a good idea to spam the attacks when trying to parry. I have to time them. They have to be timed. Right, and for Soul Gathering, Grub Song, and then Fragile Strength. Grub Song, because I don't get a lot of hits in. Maybe it's a good idea to trade in Fragile Strength for Quick Slash to get more nail hits. Maybe I can get into nail hits on those times and gather more soul. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see how well I can get 2 hits in. Yeah. Because strength is just 50% more damage, right? I think. And so, if Quick Slash, then... Ow. No, maybe his... well, Pure Vessel's tendency to parry makes it hard to pull off 2 hits. Yeah, I bet. Couldn't parry the counterattack there. And, you know, perhaps instead of Quick Slash or Fragile Strength, I could go something else. But it'd have to be... It'd have to be something with damage anyways, because otherwise just my damage output isn't very high. Too close. Okay. Yeah, but... Ow. Healing! want to get 2 hits off sometimes. Well, again, if is 50% more, and I guess I'll double check that. If fragile strength is 50% more, and if half the time I get a second hit in, then it's still more soul. Yeah, 50%. I guess I'll look up soul as well, just to see. No, not Habs. Go away. $11 soul per hit. 14 with Soul Catcher. 19 with Soul Eater. 22 with both. Dreaming out 30 soul. Dream Wielder 66. Soul Totems. Soul Caches. Rob Song. Weaver Song. King Soul. Okay. $11 per hit. Soul Catcher would do +3. Well, if you're running Grub Song, then Weaver Song, they get +3 per hit, which is, as long as I'm not worried about interrupting, Weaver Song is better than Soul Catcher in that case, because the Weavers would be getting more hits than I am. 19, was it? +3 plus, or 19, or +3 +8. And I can try foregoing quick focus. In that case, I'd want to use either Shaman Stone or Soul Twister, or theoretically both. What's the... Sprint Master and Dash Master? Sprint Master increases run speed about 20%. Dash Master further increases moving speed. Weaver Song makes moving. Jump farther and move faster. Look at Dash Master. Does it get anything from Sprint Master? No. Oh, hey. I totally didn't notice Dash Master increases the damage of Sharp Shadow. Totally forgot that. I'm gonna theory craft some builds, maybe. Probably won't use them because I'd be giving up other stuff that I really want, but Dash Master, say Grub Song, Weaver Song, Rubberfly's Elegy, Sprint Master, Sharp Shadow, and it's just full focus on these soul gaining synergies. Rubberfly's Elegy is expensive for something that would be you'd really want to get use out of the Grubberfly attacks. Otherwise, it's not very much, eh? Just a little bit of extra soul, and it's expensive. Sharp Shadow and Weaver Song damage. How much damage is Sharp Shadow? Damage enemies for one-time nail damage when using Dash Master. It's 1.5 nail damage. So in that case, it probably would be helpful to have Fragile Strength, though perhaps not necessary. Sprint Master, it's actually kind of meh. So, throw away Grubberfly's Elegy, Sprint Master. Well, unless you just want the one more. $1.5 plus the extra bit. Oh, Sharp Shadow's damage is not affected by Unbreakable Strength or Fear of the Fallen. So it can be foregone. But all this sort of extra damage that you're getting in places, and then, I don't know, something like Shaman Stone and Spore Shroom, just all the different sources of damage would be a thing. And then, what was the other thing I was looking at? Was there another thing I was looking at? Dash Master. Let's go ahead and try it with Sharp Shadow. And for now, I'll just take these things and oh, that's with Weaver Song in that case. suppose I try it without quick focus. Weaver Song. What else? Something like Spell Twister? Because maybe Soul Catcher would be... well, it'd be one thing, but then... if I'm only hitting every so often, it's maybe not very much, after all. Let's try it. Basically, I want to try the Sharp Shadow here. I want to see if it plays different. Hey. Yeah, and healing's... it's perfectly possible without quick focus. Timing's tighter, certainly. There it's maybe hard to get 2 heals in unless... nope. Yeah, but... well, if I do have Sharp Shadow, it's more possible to dash through that, although again, I have to be close. Yeah, but... okay, so that's interesting. And just because I'm not hitting the Hollow Knight that much, then just having these different sources of damage is fine. Maybe I haven't used much of Spell Twister yet, but surely that can change as I get better. surely that counterattack as well. It's just maybe difficult. Well, pairing's difficult in general. Ah. Yeah, I bet. I'm getting a lot of soul, but it's too fast to for me to use it. Like I'm too busy focusing on dodging to use spells, and when I heal, it's not. Not my fault. Ah! Well, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet. Without quick focus, though, it's hard to heal on dashing through those. Ow. No good. Spacing no good. Okay. Yeah, the and Grub Song are getting me plenty of soul. And Grub Song would be getting me less if I'm hit less, of course. But and so, yeah, later maybe I'd do something like trade out Weaver Song and Grub Song and Spell Twister for Soul Catcher and Shaman Stone, or something like that. So again, depends on how many hits I'm getting in. Though I have been getting some 2 hits in. I think partially because the Sharp Shadow and Dash Master helped me close faster. I'm both. What? Okay. It's just habit at this point to try to heal during certain spots. That mispositioning. Yeah, that. Yeah, running Sprint Master is definitely, I guess it was certainly what I had in mind. So running Sharp Shadow where the synergy certainly makes some sense. I wasn't far enough away to take a beat. I had to parry both. Now. Now, he jumped back. Now. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely getting hits in. Yeah, okay, so it's trading Grub Song, Weaver Song, Spell Twister, or Soul Catcher, Shaman Stone later would be good, since I'll likely be more consistent at getting more hits in, and the spell damage will be more damage, and the Grub Song would be less efficient since I'm getting hit less. And if Grub Song's less efficient, I don't need to run Weaver Song on its own. Well, anyways. Yeah, it all makes sense. Though again, getting this many hits in, now I may want to have fragile strength. Now, I I'm not sure how I didn't get either of those times. Yeah, that. And I think he moves forward a little bit when he counters there too, so I'd probably want to dash counter. Or dash and parry. Okay, yeah, and basically I could trade in Sharp Shadow for Fragile Strength. Though again, if that's if for example it's the biggest thing that's helping me get more, then I wouldn't want to. though running a spell build, well, I just need to time that second one better. But I got the parry off on the second attack, which is the first one that. Ah. You can dash through that. No good. Ah, spacing. Spacing and timing. Oh no. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Spacing. Now, positioning. Now. Hey. Quick focus is definitely useful. Is there anything I'd certainly be willing to give up? Possibly Shape of On, if... Well, Spell Twister... Sure. Suppose I did give up Shape of On. Well, I'd have to see how well I could utilize the quick focus without Shape of On. If I'm dashing through, then certainly. So let's do that then. The Spell Twister, I'm not having enough. Well, essentially I'm getting hit too much. Okay. And then I could take something like Sport Room, or I could take Sprint Master. And maybe Sprint Master's... Well, if it helps the Weaverlings go further, then with the positioning, it'll help me get more damage in, probably when healing. And I think Sport Room's damage is kind of weak. Then also, if the Weaverlings are getting more damage in, I'm also getting a bit more soul as well. So, even if Weaverling damage increase is small. Nope. Ow. Damn it. Yeah, but... Okay, I like this. Not that though. That seems to be working out okay. Yeah, no need for anything like Purplefly Zealotry, eh? Long Nail, I like to close anyways, so... I mean, Mark of Pride. Long Nail's not that, but... Nope. Whoa, stagger time. Lucky me. Yeah, that. I somehow didn't get my focusing. Aye, aye. Nope. That lasts too long to shadow dash through it, right? Wait, was that all of Pure Vessel? Was that it? That spell damage must have really been helpful. And then consistent damage from Weaver Song, or consistent small damage from Weaver Song, consistent small damage from Sharp Shadow. Well, I guess it's not that small, eh? It's 1.5 nail damage. It just adds up. How much health does Pure Vessel have? On tuned. My phone wants to autocorrect pure to or, despite my finger very much stopping on each level. 1600 health. Oh, the jumping happens when the knight is off the ground for too long. Oh, the Dream Nail doesn't work or have an effect against Pure Vessel. And the Fluke Nest Charm only has an effect during the Soul Pillar's attack. AoE charms such as Spore Shroom and Defender's Crest also don't affect Pure Vessel while they're in their parry stance. Okay, Attuned has... Let's see. No, Attuned has 1600 health. Ascended has 1850, so not that much more health. But of course, 4 damage each time is huge. Oh, get this. The wiki says The safest time to heal is when Pure Vessel is staggered. Without charms, the knight can heal 1 mask safely, or maybe 2 if they start healing as soon as Pure Vessel is staggered. The knight can heal 1 mask at other times as well, during the Soul Pillar's attack if they start healing before the pillars form, and Pure Vessel takes a moment before attacking again. When Pure Vessel focuses, or 2 masks of a smaller explosion does not spawn on the knight. During the Soul Dagger's attack, if the knight is already in a safe position. During a parry, if the knight predicts it. And when the knight is out of range of the Void Tendril's attack. Quick Focus helps, but generally does not provide enough time to get another mask during these no-charm moments. Sure it does. And see, that's why I mentioned this. I'm like... It's real easy to get two masks if during the Soul Daggers. I guess largely if it's I think a large part of getting extra masks is having Quick Focus and Shape of Un, because with the Soul Daggers, if you've got Shape of Un as well, you can actively dodge the Soul Daggers while focusing. And then yeah, when dashing through the lunge and the triple slash, yeah, I guess even with Quick Focus, it's maybe not. Oh, I see. It continues to say, adding Shape of Un to Quick Focus grants the knight enough maneuverability to safely heal 1 or more masks during all these moments. Okay, never mind. It's fine. I just didn't finish reading it properly. Okay. Well, guess it's Ascended time. I'm gonna have a lot of trouble. Oh, that was bad. During the tentacles. Oh, no good. Oh, okay. It was okay. Oh, yeah, bet. No good. Damn it, damn it. Gotta be quick to see those parries. Ah! don't feel you have enough time to heal. Don't heal. 4 damage is way too much for 1. Risk reward is no good. What's the word for expensive? Ah. Ow. It's not Yasai, that's vegetable. It's not Yasu, that's cheap. Hakai. Yasu. Hakai. I might have said this on a previous stream, but I went and bought the Genki textbooks, 3rd edition. And have started studying those along with along with I've got a rather long book that I've been reading parallel in Japanese and English and in French, and also occasionally I'll memorize songs in Japanese, and also basically whenever I'm just relaxing, I'll be watching Hololive JP or just have it going on in the background even. Just so that I'm hearing Japanese speech. timing's real tight there. Oh. Ah! Too close. Then I've noticed as I've been learning Japanese, listening to HoloLive, JP, for example, that there's more than one level of understanding that I'm able to discern. Not get a third one off. Because sort of naively you'd think if you understand a language, or let's say you're totally fluent, let's say you're let's say hypothetically we've got a black box that is always understands, or if things are unclear, always knows how to clarify. Just a thought experiment. Then you hear the things and you understand what they mean. But there's a level of understanding, a very different kind of, a different level before that, which is just being able to discern sounds. Yeah, so there's understanding and there's discernment. So what I mean by discernment is that you can actually hear the sounds and hear what sounds. Like, for example, when you're just listening to music and you don't know the lyrics, a lot of times, if you don't actually look up the lyrics, you can't tell what the lyrics are. Not because you don't know the language and don't understand what they mean, because if you're listening to a song in a language you know, then if you can understand a word, you can know what it means more or less. I mean, there's interpretation to be done after that, but But the reason you'll not understand a song that you know, that a song in a language you know, is because you actually, with all the music, you actually can't hear the sounds properly. Well, similarly with a foreign language, it's not because there's extra stuff going on, but because you're not used to hearing the patterns of sounds in that language. Then you actually can't hear the sounds in some sense. You hear noise and not specific sounds. No good. So there's a level in language that's understanding, and that can be complete understanding, or it can be understanding a phrase or a word or such. And then there's the level that's just discerning, say, phrases or words. Or, say, complete discernment of sounds. Yep. Positioning. And so one of the ways that I can tell I'm getting a little bit better at Japanese, right? Because when you're developing skills, it's really hard to discern progress. I think having to sneeze threw me off. Like I was able to focus before the sneeze, which is when you'd expect to be more distracted, but then after it, well, anyways. Oh yeah. So, right, when you're developing a skill, it can be really hard to discern progress if it's a difficult skill, or if it's a skill that takes a long time to learn, I should say. And the language is a difficult learn skill, partially just because there's so much material, but then also because of the complexity of structure of such a powerful tool as language. Right, it can be really hard to tell if you're improving, and so I was staggered. I should have taken a moment to heal. Even if the Weaverling's gone, I think it's not as fast to recover as if I... Yeah, so because it's discern progress, looking for specific things that you can, specific metrics you can check to see progress is good. No good. No good. Ow. Yeah, so one of the metrics, well, it's a heuristic, really, because I'm not actually taking the time to count exactly, but when I'm listening to Follow JP, I need to shadow dash through that, or depending on the distance, possibly shadow dash away. Although probably without something like Mark of Pride. Probably I'm close enough to. That dashing through just tends to make more sense. Info. Now, I backed myself into that with Shade Soul. Oh no. No time. Yeah, so even if just by heuristics, just sort of estimate, I'm not understanding more words, say, if I'm discerning more words, then that's one way to tell I'm improving a little. Yeah, but no good. I need to like try to double dash away from that as quick as possible. If I hit. your vessel when it's countering. No, well, no, dash through, dash through. Assuming I've got my shadow dash. Hey! That was tight timing. But I should... Oh. I should switch to Shaman Stone now. Because I'm not getting hit so much. Because I can't get hit so much. Because then I'm just dead. Wait, what? Oh, that was only... Oh, that's not enough for Shaman Stone and Soul Catcher. Okay. Maybe no Sharp Shadow and Shaman Stone 3, huh? What else then? I have Spell Twist. Okay, so stop that. Carefree Melodies, maybe. I wonder about Alder Shell. Alder Shell. But that costs 2 and I want more soul, eh? Alder Shell's an interesting idea. I still want Dash Master for the quick in and out. What's... Buttons, okay. I'm like, what else costs 1 is good? Because it's like, I could do Grub Song, say. I could still do Grub Song, Weaver Song. I could try to forgo Quick Focus. And then... I could even fit Soul Eater in. potentially. But maybe I'd want fragile strength instead. Suppose I took Balder Shell, and then also I did something like use on the tentacles. And really, I should just get good and figure out how to dodge the tentacles. But, if you have Balder Shell and Deep Focus, is that... I mean, it's fast enough that I wouldn't need Deep Focus, but you could really stall out, say. Soul Eater is very efficient if you've got the notches for it. Yeah, let's try that one. Sure. Lots of soul. Big spell build. Big spell energy. And then also I can... I did forget about Descending Dark. I wonder if I can do that during the tentacles. I guess it would cost more soul than just starting up Balder Shell. But I intend to get a lot of soul anyways, so... Right, I don't have Shadow Dash. Or I don't have Shadow. That's the name. Too close. Oh, did I just finish healing and lose the Balder Shell? That's unfortunate timing. But basically, I should have just dodged because I was too slow anyways. Nausicaa. Yeah, and then also as well as practicing Japanese, I've really been trying to get stronger at Go, the board game Go. That turned out to be fine somehow. And so Right, when I stream Go every other evening, alternating with chess. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, that. Uh, like, I'll play chess and Go correspondence, but to play live, it's. Oh, you need to dash through that. Remember, Ukhozi. Maybe I should use Shape of Un. Nah. I'll just keep practicing till I get somewhere. Make progress. I but to play live feels different to me, and it's hard for me to just have motivation to do it, and so that's why I'll particularly use streaming as, okay, I've committed myself to stream and Go and chess. Well, as long as my sleep schedule's not off anyways. But then I'll also have teaching game with Michael Redmond Sensei. Ah! And I'll watch the videos that he and occasionally I'll watch videos others will put out. Like GoPro, Yanu, and Doctor. Ah! I couldn't see the vessel. Spacing. But then I've got a Goban next to me, and I'll just watch pro games. Like on the Nihon Kin YouTube channel. And so there's a difference between studying and relaxing, but it's when I'm relaxing, that's when I'll be watching professional Go and also Hololive JP at the same time. Hey, there's the double parry. Let's go. Not that I was in a great position during that, but hold off the double parry. Right, when I'm relaxing, when I'm studying, I'll be focusing and sometimes taking notes. Nope. Oh, okay. Oh, well, Baldur's Shell is okay, I guess. I mean, ideally, I see where the pillars are coming. Now, are they positioned the same place on the arena, or are they positioned centered on the pure vessel? Oh. Spacing. I guess the signal shows up before the spikes actually show up. And so it's sort of like multitasking, but the thing is that multitasking, my hands off the controller for a bit there, is that multitasking is shown to be bad when you're trying to study. Is when I'm relaxing and I'm not studying, I'm relaxing. And so and so then it's for me to only be doing one thing at a time. But it's still getting some the idea is that I get that even when I'm relaxing, well, often I'm doing something that's that can... Well, it's I guess a degree of immersion, Japanese and in Go. And because watching pro games, the moves are slow enough that I can sort of follow along, and I'll put the moves oh, okay. Any damage. I'll put the moves on the Goban I have next to me. I do think talking about stuff is okay, but it's fine. As long as I'm talking about something interesting. I mean, I guess that depends on my audience. But if I keep talking about the types of things that are in the same kind of category, then theoretically I'll attract a certain audience. Okay. Yes. Double parry. Okay, not the second time in a row. I mean, ideally I only am doing double parry if my shadow dashes down, or if I panic or just not see fast enough and react the wrong way. So, but it's so it's, say, not ideal, but timing. Ah! Yeah, and I think actually playing the moves in the game, manually playing them on the Goban that I've got next to me makes a difference. Well, mainly what I'm looking for when I'm watching pro games and relaxing is general pattern recognition, right? But then if I've got that and some Holo JP going on at the same time, then basically I think the first thing that playing the moves does is force me to actually pay attention to the moves and not just look over at some point and not see what's going on. Yeah, no two deals there. Only if I had quick focus, probably. Ah. Ah. Couldn't get 2 spells off with hand dash in time there. And then I guess the second thing. Right, yeah, so the first thing is if I weren't playing the moves, maybe I'm looking at Fall Alive or and then I look over and I just see that the board has changed and potentially by a lot, and I don't know what's happened. But if I'm playing each move as it's played, then I'm paying some attention. I'm sort of naturally paying attention to the game, and then also I think potentially playing the moves out. Maybe it's also a reinforcement technique. See the pattern and then play the pattern. And possibly it even makes me think about the move a little more, potentially. Although, again, because I'm relaxing, I'm not thinking about it too heavily. And then as far as listening to the Japanese, watching Hololive at the same time, it's... Again, even if I'm not paying too much attention, well, you know how when you're doing something and you just hear something in the background, say in a language you understand, you're at a place, at a public place doing something, and you just hear people talking, then if it's a language you understand, then a lot of times you'll just sort of naturally pick up on it without focusing on it. Ah, okay. Ah. Then one thing is, okay, looks like my Shadow Dash wasn't up yet, so that was the time to dash away. And either dash away more or have to parry once or twice. Okay. It depends on the timing that of the attack sequence. Then another idea is that just as I get more proficient at Japanese, I thought I was fast enough. As I get more proficient at Japanese, the idea is eventually I'll just start hearing what's being said even without focusing on it. And that will be sort of another metric to mark progress, another heuristic. That's later. So. Yep, it was too fast to Shadow Dash through. I know. Yeah. Okay, now while I was talking, my thoughts had gone somewhere during that. There was a branch there. But it was off of what I was saying, but was basically there's one other topic I wanted to bring up. Ow. There's one other topic I want to bring up, and I need to remember what it is. I need to be very deliberate about the timing of casting spells. Okay. What was the other thing? Because what I'm going to do is talk about this one other thing and then end my practice there, because I don't think I'm beating Ascended Hollow Knight in the next, let's say, 30 minutes. I need to be faster on healing during the dive and spikes. As it is, I feel like I'm healing too late, that dodging will be hard, and then I'm starting another heal to use Baldur's Shell. And, well, that's not ideal. That's not when I want to be using Baldur's Shell. Ukhozi. The timing. Ah, yeah, I needed to. Ah. Panic! What was it? What was the thing? The improving skills. Yeah. That might have been something about improving skills. Let's see. Okay, well, here's something, even if it's not what I was going on. At the very least, it's something to talk about. Maybe it will remind me of the other thing. Oh, got it. Ooh, and subskills. Okay, okay. Yeah. So in Malcolm Gladwell's book, was it Blink or was it? I think it was a different one, but I'm not remembering the name. He gives a rule of thumb, a heuristic. That is, it takes roughly 10,000 hours to become a world-class expert in something. 10,000 of practice. Although it can't just be doing the thing at a level that you already know how to do, because then you're not improving. Then you're just staying the same. Oh, yeah. I need to dash through that. Don't forget. In a recent Veritasium video I watched, he says there are 4 things needed to become an expert. I think one is repetition, practice. Well, anyways, there are several things, but in regards to this 10,000 hour rule, this heuristic, I've seen objections of the type that no, it was like this. There was, I guess it was a TED talk I watched. That said, while 10,000 hours is the heuristic for a world-class expert, to be able to just sort of do something at a casual level, you really only need I forget if what was said was 20 hours or 40 hours, but not that much time at all. Well, there was an objection to that sure, I'll do 20 hours of some difficult skill like surgery, and to become okay at surgery. Sort of the objection there is 20 hours. Well, the objection there is there's not very much in between an expert, and maybe even a world-class expert, and not being able to do it at all. There's no kind of passable at surgery. Well, look, fair enough. But I still think that having a heuristic based on hours that has a sort of gradual improvement on a logarithmic curve, basically, or a logarithmic scale. You know, I've done 10 hours, 100 hours, 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours, and say that there are. It's still to say that even if, practically speaking, you're not going to do surgery until you've spent, you know, thousands of hours at it, practicing on like dummies and nations or whatever. That still doesn't mean that after 20 hours you're not better at surgery than you were after 0 hours. Yeah, there's still a definite improvement there, even if it's not a useful practical improvement. And so what I say against those, my counterpoint, my counterpoint to those rejections is that you've got skills that are harder than other skills. I mean, you might say in some sense that, or there are sort of two ways to measure things. There's a measure things in terms of human sort of maximum peak achievement or peak skill level. And that's one way to measure things. And that would put every skill on one type of metric that's used. So that we say, okay, I don't care if, let's say, playing piano or playing violin is quote-unquote harder in some sense, or rather, it's impossible to tell which of these two skills is harder because they're different. Say, with playing an instrument versus something completely unrelated, like, I don't know, martial arts. Maybe there are better examples to come up with, but... Or let's say a sport where, like, reaction time is very important versus playing a strategic game like chess. It's okay, there are two things here that are difficult to compare for one reason or multiple reasons. And so it's sort of impossible to say which is harder in any total or complete sense, right? And so we just say we'll measure by sort of the peak human achievement or peak human ability or capacity. And that's a way to measure things. And some skill, well, sort of, there are two, I guess I'd say there are two sub-metrics within this metric. There's because for anything that's difficult, that can't be, that the maximum level of attainment is beyond the maximum theoretical level of attainment, perfect play, say, is beyond the human limit, then with those types of skills, the human peak achievement is sort of difficult to define or pin down. And that's, something where you'll have a world record in something and it keeps getting beaten just incrementally and incrementally. Or the consistency, or sometimes... Oh, that was interesting sequence. I mean, I died at the end, but... Yeah, lost my train of thought. That'll happen when you're fighting a difficult boss at the same time as you're talking. Ah. But I guess it's sort of my way to maximize the amount of interesting stuff going on, because I'm not doing like a speed run or a particular challenge that would be... Oh, I needed to heal there, really. Well, I made some progress. I got to this... Oh, no. Phase 2. Ah! I got to phase 2. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to multitask, but even if it's not the most effective at learning, it can still be effective entertainment, I think. Well, depending on the particulars. Okay. So... there's something like tic-tac-toe, where the peak of human achievement is just memorizing the whole game, really. It's also called Noughts and Crosses for those not in the US. Maybe there are other names for it, but I don't know them. That was... What was I doing? Getting distracted, clearly. Now my nose itches. I need to scratch my nose. Or not scratch per se, just rub it, sort of. Right, games like Tic-Tac-Toe, Noughts and Crosses, they're completely solvable by humans. You can memorize all the strategies. If you spend some more time, you can even memorize basically every single board position. Thought I was fast enough. Boy. Okay. Well, with the metric of something like peak of human achievement, well, I guess for solvable games, human solvable games like Tic-Tac-Toe, I guess that's one way to say that something like Tic-Tac-Toe is definitely easier than chess or Go. But if we're comparing two skills that have the theoretical perfect play is beyond the human limit, then we say there's one sense in which the games are impossible to tell whether one's harder than the other. On the other hand, it's still useful to compare the difficulty of games. Like, Go is harder than chess, we say. Well, one reason we have to believe that is that it took a lot longer to make AIs that are better at Go than humans than AIs that are better at chess than humans. Though at the same time, it's also true that chess computers now are much better at chess than Deep Blue was, let's say. So it's still hard to say, even if Go is a harder game, say. And again, there's a sense in which it's impossible to tell. Still, because chess and Go are both unsolved games. We just don't have enough computing power currently to solve them. And maybe won't ever, because I think even for chess, which has the smaller game tree. Okay, yeah, and the game tree size is another reason to believe Go is harder than chess. But practically, both are unsolvable, not for any logical reasons, just because the number of resources we need would. The number of game positions in chess is more than the number of atoms in the observable universe, so, well, I guess maybe if Einstein's wrong, which he probably isn't, or if general wrong, which it probably isn't, then maybe we could solve those, but practically, no. Where was I going? I know I was going somewhere. No good. Spacing. Ow! Time for parry wrong. Parrying is hard. Maybe a better comparison in this case would be chess and some chess variant, like like Shang-Chi or Shogi. Or alternatively, we can try to make variants of games just so that we can have the same rough scale of game tree complexity. Or also we could compare games like, let's say, Hollow Knight and Dark Souls. Which one's harder? And even things like mods and challenges. Okay, yeah, there it's really kind of impossible to tell which is harder. Whereas for chess and Go, we have reasons to believe Go is harder. Okay. Didn't respond fast enough. Okay. So using the metric of sort of theoretical perfect play and or peak human achievement. Right, I was saying there are two submetrics there. Let's see. Oh, no. Not where I want to be using Baldur's Shell. I need to get better at recognizing the daggers, and because they come out in a set pattern relative to the boss, knowing whether I'm in a position to focus or not. Let's see. Maybe what I Maybe what I was saying about 2 submetrics is not the thing I want to, or the direction I want to bring this. I need to think about it. Okay, here's something. If we're looking at peak of human achievement, then it's sort of unclear how to measure that in hours, both because some people will have a degree of natural talent that they'll either break or be competitive at records or high scores with less time. And so it's hard to measure that in like hours of practice. But you just set something like the current human record or the theoretical human record or theoretical best play, depending on how well those things can be measured. And set that to a value of 1, and then you have whatever scoring measure you do, fractions, or potentially you'd set something at 0 and have the numbers decrease to 0. Or, well, with golf, with like an 18-hole course, sort of the best score is 18. 18-hole in ones. So, okay, that's a game where it's easy, or for bowling, the best score is it 300, I think? Those are games where it's easy to have a metric for the theoretical best, even if humans are far behind it, say. Or even if it's beyond the human limit. At least consistently. Yeah, okay. So there are at least 2 metrics there. The theoretical perfect play. Oh, say for example, so with a golf, an 18-hole course, that would be a score of 18. Or with chess, we have good reason to believe that theoretical best play is always a draw. And then for human best, we have the records of, say, human record of what's the best score on this particular golf course, or things like maybe you could do things like what's the highest rated computer that humans have drawn against or beat, perhaps. things like that. Okay, yeah, so there are at least 2 submetrics there. Well, let's say 3. There's theoretical perfect play, there's theoretical human limit, and there's actual top human records or performance. Okay. Then well, those are metrics for the high end of the scale, world-class experts, and human record holders, say. And we could do things like computer record holders as well, but I'll just keep referring to humans because it's because it serves my point. Or it serves well enough for my point. Yeah, but let's see. Oh. But at the low end of a scale, well, anywhere not on the high end of the scale, there's a practical metric of, in competitive games, how well do people rank against each other or rate against each other. Let's say with something like an ELO rating, or even with speedrun leaderboards, say. Yeah, let's use the example of speedruns, because before you can speedrun, you actually have to be able to clear the challenge that you're trying to speedrun. And so that would be the same kind of objection where, you know, let's say it's a type of challenge that you need more than, let's say, 20 hours to be able to even be good enough to complete. And probably games like Hollow Knight are like that for first-time players. For Dark Souls, it's your first run-through of the game you're not going to complete in after 20 hours of practice. And so, practically speaking, you can say that after 20 hours, you're no better a speedrunner than after 0 hours. But that still doesn't mean you're not better at the skills you need to speedrun 20 hours than after 0 hours. And so, well, I took a long time getting here because I was very thorough in trying to cover all my bases, in trying to explain the concept. Well, part of that's also just because I can't take the shortest path conceptually while I'm fighting the pure vessel without having already memorized the whole conceptual pathway. So it was a long argument to get to. I think it's fine to say that even after 20 hours of practice as a surgeon, you are still a better surgeon than after 0 hours. And even after 20 hours of practice at a game that has speed runs, even if it's not enough to even clear the game first time, for a first time, you're still, even if not practically, conceptually, better at speedrunning than you were after 0 hours. And so then another metric to measure how hard a game is or a skill is to say after how much time of practice at the skill do you gain a practical benefit. Right, and so I say, okay, I've practiced 20 hours at piano, and yeah, I'm no world-class expert, but I can kind of play piano. I'm okay at it. I play piano at a low level. Or I'm okay at playing piano. I think it's still reasonable to say, after 20 hours at practicing something like surgery, it's still okay to say, I'm okay at surgery, but then just say that surgery is an insanely hard skill, and being just okay is not good enough. And then also, furthermore, because there are definitely skills that are harder than others, and it's proof enough for this to know that some skills, the peak is easily, obviously bounded and reachable, like tic-tac-toe, and other skills like surgery or playing piano that are much hard, or chess or Go that are much harder, then okay, I can pause like that. Right, I forgot. it's not opening the menu like the inventory or menu like this. It's this one. And so, right, because I'm trying to preserve the use of hours of practice as an indicator of I'm this good at this in terms of hours, but just that this thing is harder than that thing, then yeah, then the one metric of how hard it is how many hours does it take to reach a practical level where it can the thing being done can now be properly done. Although again, that will actually vary or depend on how much, I guess, talent one has. And then levels of, well, how long to reach human peak is always dependent on sort of what the current human record is, and then the theoretical human record is, I guess, actually what you would say is with 5%, within 1%, or within a fraction of percent of theoretical human best or theoretical perfect play. I guess the equation would be a factor. It would be a multiplication between hours spent, and again, this is effective hours spent, not hours spent, just not going beyond at the level of one's capacity. Yeah, it'd be a product of hours spent times some probably complicated factor representing talent. And that model maybe is good enough as a first pass to get an idea of the difficulty and skill phase space. Well, suppose then that we can set a default or average talent factor at 1. Oh yeah. It would be really nice if this were the kind of thing that followed a bell curve, a Gaussian distribution, but maybe it would follow a different distribution instead. Because I know there are certain things that follow, like Pareto distributions, for example, and so I can't just assume a Gaussian distribution. Let's see. Do I have good reason to suppose it be a Gaussian distribution, though? Well, I know that IQ, it's a bell curve. And that, let's say, personality traits will fit a bell curve. So, if talent at some things is related to IQ and personality traits like conscientiousness, but then also some other things, other sort of human metrics that are of that nature, then I think there's good reason to suppose that something like a sort of nebulous talent factor would be on a bell curve then. So that's probably pretty convenient. Well, I guess you could set it at 0, set the default at 0 on a log scale. Or, something like that. Yeah. And then... Well, I somehow got a heal off. I guess because the daggers are a little bit slow. I'm just trying to get lucky there, I guess. Which is bad long-term strategy. Okay. There's also the fact that we can say skills like playing piano or playing chess are made up of many different subskills, and maybe even several multiple levels of subskills, maybe even 3 or 4, depending, of a nested hierarchy of subskills to whatever depth and whatever branching. But it's like, we say that playing piano is a skill because it's sort of on a nominal level. Playing piano is a neat little thing. Something like playing scales and reading sheet music and what's another example? Knowing where the keys are without looking at them, and pedal work. That was bad. Hit the wrong button there. Okay. And then down another level, there's just the ability to move your fingers, move your feet in a certain way, and even to move your eyes in a certain way. Right, those are skills too. Those can't be taken for granted because, you know, a newborn baby can't do that can't control their limbs quite fully. Yeah, so those skills can't be taken for granted. So there's this hierarchy of sub-skills. And maybe it's not easy to define, but you could, let's say, arbitrarily define some function of a certain macro skill as a function of some sub-skills. And then, I guess at the lowest level, you just have to define in terms of actual measurements of something, some metric. Like I guess for speedrunning, even there's one metric that's a complete measurement just in time in seconds, say. Maybe for like playing chess, well, maybe there's move accuracy. Well, again, that's a high level thing. What's a good example of, well, I say sort of the most basic skills that we can conceptualize for, let's say, playing piano is move your fingers in such and such a way. I'm not quite sure what kind of metric we'd use to measure how someone is at moving their fingers as a sub skill. Probably because the skill hierarchy is complicated and interlinked in a web in such a way. At least conceptually, maybe it's hard to conceptualize a definition and well, a practical definition, yes, that would be easily comprehensible for a complicated skill such as playing piano. But let's see if I can think of something. How well one moves one fingers. Let's see. Oh, okay. Maybe this example would be related, but reaction time. Say, well, I think reacting to something, there are actually two skills. One is actually seeing the, let's say for Hollow Knight here, there's actually seeing what the boss is doing, and then there's responding appropriately to it. My nose is itching again. They're seeing what's happening, and then they're responding appropriately to it. Well, those are... Well, we can... Yes. Carry the counter. Okay. New skill manifested. Even if only barely. And even if it's one that's not as useful. Okay, well, we can maybe break down seeing what's happening and reacting properly to what's happening. We can put those as a sub-skill to... I guess I'll say... Is it better to use the word reaction or the word response for... Which one of those makes more sense for the sub-skill and for the compound skill? I'm going to use response for the sub-skill, and I'm going to use reaction for the compound skill. Okay, so at that level, we could have a metric of average reaction time, say. And then based on, say, pure vessel speed, either the reaction time is fast enough or it's not. And then there's also correct reaction or correct response. And there's a consistency, a percentage correct response. And you could have correct response regardless of time, or you could say correct response and in time, which is useful because that's the one that says I didn't get hit, say, which is pretty important. And so you can measure, say, percentages and average times there. Okay, so that's a fairly low-level metric. Right, but level in the skill, sub-skill hierarchy, at some level you have to have metrics that are actual measurements. Experimental measurements, basically. And that, in combination with things like, right, the metrics of the measurements of things like sub-skills, like reaction time, like base percentages. Can be put into context of the hours metric, the sort of macro abstract skill level metric, to say that I wonder if I can pogo that. If I panic and jump. Or if it's even possible to double enough. That's another question. Though again, if I end up doing that, I probably should be shadow dashing through if I can help it. Or if I can train my reactions properly. to say something like a metric at this level is, let's say, average for someone at this abstract skill level. Yeah, you could define some function, and it's somewhat arbitrary, perhaps. Actually, maybe you could do a deep learning to it to say, maybe you could put those in terms of, if you have a metric that's like percentage of games won, or average completion time, or or even metrics like a judge's score on some instrument. And again, that's kind of arbitrary, but they're using some heuristic. So probably linear algebra, deep learning, would be good enough to sort of give weights to various sub-skills that make up a super skill, a macro skill. Yeah, and with actual neural nets, the thing that's complicated is that we actually don't always know what subskills, basically. We don't know how to tie certain conceptualizable subskills to the nodes and weights of the neural net. That's why understanding neural nets is so hard. That's why they're a black box. Oh no. Wrong positioning? Hey, good positioning. Nope. Bad positioning. Oh, but it's also possible that we can measure we can measure the sub-skill metrics in terms of concrete ability, concrete experimental metrics, and then we can also measure them in terms of time practiced times some factor, let's say. Though again, that model may be too naive. Uh, uh, am I finished? Yeah, okay. Anyways, deep learning, neural nets. Um, I think they show that this conceptualization of skills and sub skills is one that can work. We can also say we're this good at this super skill by doing some linear algebra to how good we are at these sub skills. All right, well, that's the end of Hollow Knight for today, and I will be playing Go in the evening.